the encouraging thing is that there's a path away from war. But I suppose we should conclude here with the warning, the danger. As you mentioned, you just came back from Europe,
Europe.
and one of the things that so disturbed you was this acceptance of as a basic incontrovertible fact, the fact that we have to increase our military spending. The Labour government in Britain has essentially said, "Oh, we're going to have to, we're going to have to accept cuts to social services because we have to increase military spending." And this is just sort of accepted as an ideological consensus. This move towards militarism.
What you see is that these countries are willing to spend a lot to fight what may be an illusory threat. The wrong lessons of history may seem to be listened to right now. It's not World War II. It's a different situation. And it's wrong to just fix on the idea that they're willing to spend a lot of money on armaments, and they're cutting the investment in people and social security, social welfare. Keir Starmer, I was at the Parliament in London when they opened debate on disability benefit cuts. 6 months earlier, Labour was defined by cutting subsidies for the elderly during the winter, heating subsidies. In my mind, that's not a winning, even-handed, fair, just program, but it's mounting.
And then one final point is that it's not just that there's something unconscionable about taking from the disabled to give to the arms industry. That's bad enough. But also that that militarism, increasing spending on arms, do not actually make us safer, because there's this phenomenon in international relations that is this is my number one most, I wish everyone understood this, which is the security dilemma, which is the idea that all the things you do for your own supposed defense and self-protection, in fact, make you less protected, because what happens is that your adversary, your opponent, interprets what you see as a defensive move as an offensive move, and then responds through moves they see as defensive, but then you see as further offense.
But you know what also needs to be done, really fundamental, is redefining what security means. I mean, Olof Palme of Sweden, who would be weeping because his country's joined NATO, or Gorbachev, who gave an extraordinary speech in 1988 at the UN. Security is defined in military ways. Security is also dealing with, climate, with pandemics, with nuclear proliferation. Building up your arms doesn't necessarily equip you to deal with those security challenges. So, but we sound, that is what has shifted. And I don't know, it's worth a conversation with smart people as to, you have Chaz Freeman, how in his time has he seen it actually descend? We have a great poster at The Nation. It's called Political Dissent. And I am a Roosevelt champion, not excessively, but it begins with Edward Sorel, the cartoonist. Roosevelt. We have to update it because I think Clinton and Dole are swimming like little wogs down here. But it's DESCENT, and I think we've had a descent of understanding about what security is.
Well, I do think that it is very, very difficult for ordinary people to keep their heads right. We're subjected to so much
Nathan,
propaganda.
No, sorry. Here's the deal. I think the establishment, Ukraine, I don't think is a project of people in this country, maybe constituencies of Ukrainians. But I think the elite, the establishment, has a language it talks to itself with, has understandings that they get filled with from college, from think tanks. Think tanks used to be think tanks. There's not a hell of a lot of thinking going on right now. There's shadow cabinets.
Yeah.
They repeat what happens in Washington. And if everyone's thinking the same, who's really thinking?
Thanks for watching. This video is a product of Current Affairs Magazine, the country's leading independent left print magazine based here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Go to currentaffairs.org to find out more about us, and currentaffairs.org/subscribe to subscribe to our absolutely gorgeous bi-monthly print edition. Get it in your mailbox. You can also subscribe to the Current Affairs News Briefing, the Current Affairs Podcast, or you can subscribe to our digital edition. Current Affairs is entirely reader-supported. We have no ads. We have no corporate backers. We depend on you. So please consider purchasing a subscription or making a donation to Current Affairs today. We are a 501c3 non-profit organization, and your donations are tax-deductible to the extent allowable by law. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.